not, and that's the answer. It did not. Okay, we are now in Genesis 34, 1 through 3. Genesis 34, 1 through 3. Leah's daughter Dinah, whom Leah bore to Jacob, went out to see some of the young women of the area. When Shechem, that's Shechem, when Shechem, son of Hamor the Hivite, who was the region's chieftain, saw her, he took her and raped her. He became infatuated, infatuated, infatuated with Jacob's daughter, Dinah. Lisa, could you check with Steph to see if that's working now, just since I'm doing it on my phone? So once they settled into Shechem, Jacob's daughter Dinah went out to meet some of the young women that lived in the area. And while she was out, a young man named Shechem, I mean, the same name as the town, saw her, became infatuated with her, and then he raped her. And the Bible says that afterwards, Shechem begged his father to speak to Jacob in order to try to get him to let her become his wife. Genesis 34, 5 through 12. Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled his daughter. But since his sons were with his livestock in the field, he remained silent until they came home, until they returned. Sorry. Verse 6. Meanwhile, Shechem's father Hamor came to speak with Jacob. Jacob's sons returned from the field when they heard about the incident. They were deeply grieved and very angry. For Shechem had committed an outrage against Israel, by raping Jacob's daughter. And such a thing should not be done. Verse 8, Hamor said to Jacob's sons, my son Shechem has his heart set on your daughter. Please give her to him. Please give her to him as a wife. Verse 9, intermarry with us. Live with us. The land is before you. Settle here, move about, and acquit. Verse 11, then Shechem said to Dinah's father and brothers, grant me this favor, and I'll give you whatever you say. Demand of me a high compensation. And gift. I'll give you whatever you ask me. Just give the girl to be my wife. That's weird because on my phone, I see it's not on the spot. Is that all right? Oh, it's because one is portrait and one is landscape, probably. Like the computer screen is sideways, but I'm recording it upright. Is it okay like that? Okay, okay. You know, it's interesting to me if we can read back over that for a moment, because verse 11, Shechem said, give me this favor. You want to talk about a lack of awareness of what just happened? He said, give me this favor. Your son just raped my daughter. Give me this favor. They were. They were. Yes, they were. Absolutely. So that's obviously they are not going to, but yeah, that was it was. Yeah. Yeah. So no sooner had they gotten themselves settled into this new little town called Shechem than this whole entire mess happened. When Jacob found out about it, rather than reacting on his own, he just waited for a little bit. Oh, well, I don't know if dad doesn't have any guts or if dad was counting to 10 or I just I don't know as a dad, I don't know. I would probably need to sit for a minute before I know it's your daughter. Somebody's in trouble. Oh my goodness. Now I don't remember the answer to that one. I'll have to let you know. The, the only daughter it could be. So Jacob hadn't done anything. Rather, he decided he was going to wait until his sons returned from working in the fields. And so after Jacob told the boys about what happened, the brothers were absolutely furious about it. So Genesis 34, 13 through 31, this is going to be a long passage. 13, but Jacob's sons answered Shechem and his father Hamor deceitfully, because he had defiled their sister Dinah. We cannot do this thing, they said to them. Giving our sister to an uncircumcised man is a disgrace to us. Verse 15, we will agree with you only on this one condition. On this condition, if all your males are circumcised as we are. 16, then we will give you our daughters. Take your daughters for ourselves. Live with you and become one people. But if you will not listen to us and be circumcised, then we will take our daughter and go. Verse 18, the word seemed good to Hamor and his son Shechem. The young man did not delay. The young man did not delay doing this because he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. Now, he was the most important in all his father's family. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the gate of their city and spoke to the men of their city. 21, these men are peaceful toward us. So they thought. These men are peaceful toward us, they said. Let them live in our land and move about in it. For indeed the region is large enough for them. Let's take their daughters as our wives. And give our daughters to them. But the men will agree to live with us and be one people only on this condition. If all, if all our men are circumcised as they are. 23, won't their livestock, their possessions, and all their animals become ours? Only let's agree with them, and they will live with us. All the men who had come to the city gates listened to Hamor and his son Shechem, and all those men were circumcised. On the third day, when they were still in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords, went into the unsuspecting city, and killed every male. He It's pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty. Yeah, it was not a fair fight, that's for sure. No. Verse 30. No, wait, I'm verse 28. No, 26. So they killed Hamor and his son Shechem with their swords, took Dinah from Shechem's house and away. 27. Jacob's sons came to the slaughter and plundered the city because their sister had been defiled. They took their flocks, herds, donkeys, and whatever was in the city and in the field. They captured all their possessions, dependents and wives, and plundered everything in the houses. What an interesting, because it was dirty. It was dirty, but they stood up for their sister. Huh? No, 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 no. It was a dirty fight. It was a dirty fight. Verse 30, then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have brought trouble on me. And this is true. You've brought trouble on me, making me odious to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. We are few in number. If they unite against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed. 31, but they answered, should he treat our sister like a prostitute? And that was that story. So Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, they absolutely destroyed the men of Shechem. And because of that, Jacob knew that they could no longer stick around. They couldn't be there for much longer because if the people in that area were all to join together and attack, they had no chance of standing against them. They'd easily be routed by them. So it's interesting to note that after all of this happened, we see in our next passages here in Genesis 35 that God actually spoke to Jacob. He came to Jacob even before Jacob thought about asking God for help. So Genesis 35, 1 back in your little booklets now. What a mess. I blame Rodney. Oh, dear me. Yeah, yeah. The whole town, though. They tricked them, and you're right. It was not even. It wasn't a fair fight. Well, maybe part of it, right? I don't know. Yeah, they just knew this was going to be an easy fight. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It only took the two of them to whoop an entire town. Yikes. All right, Genesis 35, 1 through 3. God said to Jacob, get up, go to Bethel, and settle there. Build an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau. Verse 2. So Jacob, so Jacob said, family, and all who were with him, get rid of the foreign gods that are among you. I'm going to pause right there for a moment. You want to see another step in Jacob's refinement is right there. He's telling everybody we need to purify ourselves. We need to get rid of these foreign gods that we're carrying around with us. So we can see here another step in his development, another step forward that he has made. So Jacob said to his family, get rid of the foreign gods that are among you, purify yourselves. Oh, good luck charms. Mm. Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And so it's neat because we see another step in progression. That next blank was purify yourselves and change your clothes. Verse 3, we must get up and go to Bethel. I'll build an altar there to the God who answered me in my day of distress. Listen to this. He has been with me everywhere I have gone. That's a pretty big step for old Jacob usurper right there. A recognition that God has been with him everywhere that he has gone. So Jacob's encounter with his brother Esau was definitely the beginning, well, not necessarily the beginning. It was a major step in Jacob's refining. And the horrible events that transpired in Shechem were the next step in the refining process. However, God wasn't done yet. God was calling Jacob back to Bethel. But first, they had to purify themselves. They had to change their clothes. They had to bury the foreign gods that they had been carrying amongst themselves. And we can't miss the fact that it was Jacob that told everybody in his family that they needed to do these things, to purify themselves before they went to Bethel. Before this point, Jacob never even really acknowledged that God was with him wherever it was that he was going. Now we see that he knows that God is with him. So then after Jacob and his family had completed their purification process, they moved to Bethel, which means house of God. That's right. Jacob finally understood that absolutely nothing unclean, nothing sinful can come into the presence of God. That's why he told him to get rid of all of the foreign gods amongst themselves. So the picture of Jacob instructing his household to cleanse themselves and purify themselves, it points directly to this new understanding of God's holiness. And so we can clearly now see a marked difference from the boy that we met several chapters ago that was always being dishonest. And now, however, we can see that God finally has Jacob's attention. And now that he has Jacob's full attention, he's about to kick his legs right out from under him. See, the good news for Jacob was that he had God on his side now, because he was about to pass through God's most intense refining yet. And he was about to experience it really in the most soul crushing ways imaginable. Genesis 35:8. Deborah, the one who had nursed and raised Rebekah, who was Jacob's mom, died and was buried under the oak south of Bethel. So Jacob named it Allon Bakuth, which means the oak of weeping. Now, I looked this up. I wanted to understand why this was so hard on Jacob. And when Rebekah sent Jacob away to Haran, when he stole the birthright and all this stuff, Rebekah sent him away. Jacob never got to see his mom again. She passed away before he made it back. The Bible doesn't specifically say when. It's just, and I think it's in Genesis talks about him being buried in the same tomb. But just through history, we know that they never got. Deborah was he was very very close to her because she very much reminded him of his mom. A grandmother figure, yeah. What a proxy, would that be inappropriate to say? Just almost like his mom. And so he loved her very, very, very much. And she passed away on the journey. So as they were on their way back toward Canaan, Rebecca's nurse Deborah died. And the Bible doesn't give us specific details surrounding her passing, but we know that it was very, very hard for Jacob because she had been with the family even before he was born. She had actually helped to raise Jacob's mom. And so when Jacob was forced to flee Haran, Rebekah sent Deborah along with him just to help take care of him along the way. Deborah had been in Jacob's life from the day he was born. So the loss of this dear friend, this grandmother, basically, it was extremely hard for him. It was extremely hard for him. But God wasn't done yet.